Here at Ritual Devices, Noisemaker Market with Wob.
How you doing?
How you doing, man?
All good, man. All good.
Great to see you again. It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
It has indeed.
Hopefully it won't be as long until I see you again the next time.
Yeah, no, it was at Stourbridge, wasn't it, the last show?
Stourbridge, yeah, which was a great show. Really loved that show. But
about 6 years ago or something? Or?
Do you know, it probably is. It's been 10 years since I've started doing this, so yeah, it probably is. But yeah, so basically there's a couple of new bits, a few little simple pedals, a little simple sort of fuzz pedal, simple overdrive. I wanted to do some things which weren't quite as crazy, just to be more accessible to everyone. Obviously still got the old range of oddball effects and some new ones coming later this year in the sort of bigger format, which, you know, will follow on from this range. But also there will be a couple of new smaller pedals, which then, you know, maybe a tremolo and that sort of thing. Just, you know, it's nice to have things at every price point so that I'm not, you know, trying to be boutique and exclusive and, you know, trying to get everyone involved, really.
No, that's fair. You've got, those, the two, the silver and the grey. What can you tell us about those?
Silver fuzz is similar to it's like a fuzz facey type thing, you know, to all intents and purposes. It's got really low gain silicon transistors with a little trick with a capacitor to make it sound more germanium in a sense, but much more stable. It's pretty much an old school fuzz, all built by hand. PCB and everything, so it's from the ground up. And then the grey overdrive is a ultra simple amp. I hate saying it, but it's an amp like overdrive, but with different clipping options. Ultra simple though. It's really good for stacking, and I've had reports that it's good for stacking with clones, which I'm still not going to make, despite the fact that everyone keeps asking me to. But it's a similar sort of thing, like very simple. Basically, it comes from an old preamp, an 80s tape preamp type thing, so it's really, really ultra simple, but actually really nice, dynamic, and you can actually hear your guitar. So if you're playing a telly, it's going to sound like a telly with an overdrive.
That's very cool. And then there's this one down here as well.
So this one is basically what I've taken the dry blend from the Rainmaker. So now you can blend any effect with your dry signal. It's a super simple design, and I'm sure it's been done before, but I wanted something, I always wanted something when I was gigging, a tremolo that sat just underneath my signal. So this kind of does that, so you can run a tremolo with it, but have it just undulating underneath your signal, which, yeah, it was just one of those things, but you could blend a delay, chorus, anything you really want with it, and it's going to do.
Very cool. And then I can't help but notice a tremolo pulsing away as well over here.
This is a prototype. It's going to end up in a similar sort of format to this. I just wanted something that was. I love modulation, but I wanted something more accessible and a more accessible price point. So this will be roughly around the 120 mark. It's going to be all hand built again.
Very nice. Well, I have to say, it's like any time I see a tremolo with a level knob, that's straight away I'm like, yes, this is a man who understands tremolo.
It's one of those things, even though it's a perceived volume drop,
yeah, it still has the effect on it.
Your brain is telling you there's volume drop, so mate, let's boost it.
Ultimately, if you're struggling to hear it as well in the mix, it's basically the same thing, even whether it's there or not. You know, I don't care about technicalities at that point. I just want to hear my thing.
I want to hear it the way my ears aren't hearing this, right? So I want to.
Exactly, yeah. No, that's very cool. I like that. I like the other.
So that's coming later this year, and again with some other bits and pieces as well. Yeah, it's been a funny old start to the year, so everything's on the back burner, but slowly getting there, and we're going to have some new bits soon.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Rob. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Phil. Thanks very much. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, you too.
Cheers. Take care.
Take care. And another builder that we got to see at the Stourbridge show all those years ago, Alec from Zander Circuitry. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good. All good, thank you.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, and you?
It's been a while, obviously. What have you got? Anything new that you're rocking at the moment, or is it a lot of the stock is sort of similar?
Yeah, so I think for most of the stuff is still kind of the same as what we've been doing for the last few years. Trying to just kind of get back out because we've taken a bit of a, not a break, but I suppose a little bit of a lull on some of the, doing some of the shows and stuff. So a lot of this kind of standard stuff is like the stock stuff that we normally sell, and then we've got a handful of like custom shop craniums and cafetières that we're doing. So we've got like a very limited run of these different powder coloured enclosures where you get to pick your enclosure colour, pick the knob colour you want, and then we'll ship it out. So and most of these are, either one of one or one of two. So there's only a very small number of each colour. So if you want something that's custom, these are probably two of the best selling like distortions and fuzzies that we have. So if you want something that's a bit more unique and potentially one of one, then that's what we've got.
Good to know, man. It's very cool. I do like the pastels of those. Like they're really really cool. They are. That's awesome. Glad to see the knobs are back as well. On the website at the moment.
Yeah. So I think we'll be listing those again, because I know people like to kind of add to those as spares, because they either want to customise the pedal they bought, or they need some spares for something else, or they'd work good on another pedal. So I think we're going to list those as put those back on the site.
Oh, really cool. I do love that design. Because a lot of when you've obviously got a pedal enclosure that's this kind of form factor, if you've got a lot of parameters to navigate, obviously that means you have to have a smaller knob to get access to. But then a lot of people put these like the really really tiny I don't even know if they have a name, the tiny black.
Oh yeah, so yeah, those ones are like, they're almost not even knobs, they're like built-in trim pots almost.
Yeah, basically. Like I hate them so much.
Yeah, I mean they have their purpose, but they're prone to breaking. They're not great.
Yeah, these are like the best kind of they have so much grip on them, like they like the knurled kind of edges, and they're just nice.
Yeah, I think with on this sort of size of pedal, for the off-the-shelf stuff, you're quite limited on the options you can put on pedals. So we wanted to do something a bit different and go for like the custom look that matched the enclosure colour or the graphic colour.
Yeah. It's great stuff, man. It's really good to see you. I'm glad you're back at the shows again. It's been great to have you back in the community and on the scene. It's very cool. Looking forward to seeing what else you might have lined up in the future as well.
There is big stuff coming in the next I'd say 6 months or so. So yeah, there's going to be a lot coming out.
Watch this space. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it. Take care. First 4 pedal shows that I've seen. Obviously met you a few times before, but Ian, Gigahearts FX.
Yeah,
it's great to meet you in person at one of these shows and have you showing off your creations. What can you tell us about your impressive board that you've got here with all your stuff on?
Well, they're colourful. That's my vibe. The purple comes from my daughter, got a 5-year-old, and it's all her favourite colours. So whenever I make a new pedal, it has to get her approval. So colour first, sound second. Jokes aside, but yeah,
I mean, that's my criteria as well for choosing a pedal. To be fair,
looks is where it has to be. But yeah, what's new? I guess so. Brand new is this guy. This is the RB426 atmosphere processor. It's my take on the kind of ubiquitous Belton brick, but with a few special tweaks of my own. So like everything I do, it's designed to be performance in mind. So you've got like a momentary foot switch to bring in like additional feedback swells. There's like 2 feedback paths, which is quite unique for the circuit topology. It's also got a resonant filter rather than your kind of simple tone control, so you can really kind of like set the reverb where you want it to be in space. Other new things, so the silly face and the small cheese have had a small revision to Mark II. So I'm quite excited about the small cheese. This takes everything that is the love tone big cheese, makes it smaller but also bigger, because you have the additional tone controls. You've got 4 different tone options. You've got the tone bypass on a foot switch, which is new. So you can basically click your second foot switch and bring in one of 2 different kind of performance modes. So the first one is like the cheese setting, which degrades the transistors and gives you that gated fuzz. The other setting gives you a tone bypass with its own kind of balancing control. So you've got the ability to have like the fuzz going through a tone network or just through a tone bypass, and then have them balanced higher or lower than each other. So that's pretty cool. It gives you like so many options just at your feet. The silly face, my take on the classic silicon fuzz face. Yeah, you'd never know. It's super obvious, but I think it has to be. Like, I'm not looking to kind of pull the wool over anyone's eyes. But what it does do, it has a really wide-ranging bias control. So this will go anything from like full open, even like misbias in the hot way, all the way down. So that's about 7 volts down to 0.7 volts. This will go all the way past Velcro and beyond into almost lost fuzz. But the thing that's cool about it, I haven't seen on any of the fuzz faces, I've put a vintage and modern switch. So the vintage is like you expect. You have to wind up the fuzz and the volume controls, and it's above unity, but it's not a super loud pedal. In the modern mode, you get a significant heft in the output. So, you know, for those people that aren't running it into like a cooked amp, you retain all of the flavour and the kind of what makes a fuzz face just gives you way more volume. So you've got those options, which I haven't really seen that in any other fuzz face. So yeah, that works for me. Otherwise, we've got the pump track, which is our take on the 424 preamp. You've got the essential slider control, 3 gain stages, master gain, volume output, the input trimmer and the channel fader. You also have a DI out on the side with the ground lift, so you can plug it straight into a recording interface. So it sounds different in front of an amp or in front of a direct interface. It's relay bypass. All of the new pedals have this relay momentary operation as well, so same over here. So you can have them like on and off, or you can go from on to momentarily and back, so you can cut them out, or the other way around. So you have them on and then momentarily off and then straight back on.
That's awesome.
So it's kind of intelligent bypass.
That's impressive.
And a few of the fuzz pedals, yeah.
Big muffins.
I like how you just say a few of the fuzz pedals, and they're like the most interesting, coolest looking things ever. You're just like, oh yeah, and there's these others as well.
I can talk you through them. So
please do. I mean, I haven't seen any of these in person before. So,
yeah. So the Hyper Soup is originally from the late '60s. The Univox Super Fuzz came out with a 2-way toggle switch and a gain and a volume essentially, and it's kind of a gnarly octave up transistor-based fuzz. Boss took that circuit in I think it was about 1997. They made something called the Hyper Fuzz. It's really collectible now, used on an Electric Wizard album, probably amongst other stoner bands, but I knew it from Electric Wizard, so I was listening to it in a bedroom when I was 16, drinking cheap vodka, and it's lived with me. So Behringer, I don't want to drop their name, but they actually make a really cheap version of that essential circuit, and people were coming to me saying, can you put it in a metal case? I don't like the plastic box. And so I was like, do you know what? Let's cut out the middleman. Let's cut out Behringer. I'll just redesign the whole circuit, put it in a 1590 BB, foot switchable octave, so you get 2 different tonalities in one. They go through 3 different tone profiles. So you've got the hump, the scoop, and then the so-called secret or 1.5 mixed version.
I was just going to ask about that. Yeah, I was just going to ask if they had that mode in there.
Yeah, so you've got that on the rotary switch, and then the boost control it's the same as it was on the Boss Hyperfuzz, but the gain and the volume actually both work. So one of the kind of shortcomings is when you went to boost mode, people really like it because you've got the active bass and treble controls. It's actually a really nice boost with EQ, but it was only controlled by the gain. So let's say you had the gain all the way up for the fuzz, it would be like max volume, max gain on the originals. So I fixed that so the volume control actually works. So it's way more usable as a boost pedal too. So it's a lot in a kind of medium-sized package. Next one.
Microsquare definitely is caught my eye.
So I've loved electro-harmonics for a very long time. I have about 40 or 50 electro-harmonics pedals in the big boxes. I love the aesthetic. I love the screen printed colours. And I use the microsynth as a fuzz pedal because it's got that proper gnarly OTA square wave fuzz in it. It's the LM13700 chip. And I had people say, you know, you could just put that fuzz in a small pedal. And I thought, well, you could do that, or you could add the octave up as well, and you could have the clean blend. And then one of the nice things about the microsynth is you got that filter section. You know, you normally have the sliders and it can be triggered to sweep through. You can set them as a notch filter. So basically developed, you can switch it in and out. You can just have the straight signal, you can put it through this multi-feedback low-pass filter. So it's got like a 6 dB resonant peak, and it emulates the tone of like moving the sliders on the old microsynth.
That's amazing.
So it's in a little box, and it runs off 9 volt, but it's the original vintage circuit. It's not the Expo recreate. It's not the 9 volt. So it sounds like a real one, basically.
So I recently tried the Expo version of the microsynth, and I thought it was awesome. But then I also didn't have anything else to compare it to.
It's still cool, but the originals run on bipolar 18 volt internally. So as does this. So I have the originals. It's the original circuit.
Very, very cool. I do like that. And then the big boy.
The big one, yeah. The swing, the baseball, the big baseball swing over here. So at its heart, Mash Voltaire. I actually have this in a small version. It's a violet ram's head with a couple of tweaks. So the core of it is violet ram's head built to spec. With an additional little saturation control. So this is kind of taken from the 90s Creamy Dreamer mod. So this was a mod which came out, a company called Sustain Punch brought the Creamy Dreamer, which was a way of increasing the gain on the second transistor. And that basically brings that in. So adds a lot of hair to the fuzz, gives you even muffier muff, if you will. You've then got a foot switchable voltage staff control. It's variable, so you can just create loads of different textures with that on the fly. And really, the big boy, so that's available in a Mash Voltaire on its own. The big boy, the deluxe, adds on 5 extra EQ knobs.
Wow, okay.
Which sounds excessive and probably is. So you have band pass, low pass, and high pass. So like bass, middle, treble, essentially.
Right.
These are additional volume controls for those kind of paths through the tone network. And then they're all sweeping through like an analog synth-style filter network. So you've got 2 different states, low and high resonance, so you can adjust the resonance, and then you can sweep the whole filter. So it basically gives you any tone you want through a classic vintage 4-transistor Big Muff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, people tell me it sounds really cool, but it's big. People like small pedals, but for me, like any, Billy Corgan never played a ram's head. He played the op-amp Big Muff, but you can get that tone of like Siamese Dream with the EQ because it's so broad. I think the only one we didn't touch on was January.
I was just going to say, yeah, that one we haven't glossed over slightly.
I think it's the most obvious. Like, I really like the kind of Timmy transparent overdrive. Vemuran put out something called the January, which was like a tweaked Timmy circuit. So this is in that lineage. Again, I'm not here to pull any wool over anyone's eyes. It's based on the Timmy and January. It's got kind of standard symmetrical clipping, 1 and 2 pair diodes, and like a kind of unique Schottky asymmetric clipping, which is it's on there because it's my favourite clipping for that circuit, and I'm not sure anyone else is doing that. And you've got the additional trimmer. I called it push control. Basically, again, the gain, it sets the range of the gain control.
Right.
So it allows you to really tune in exactly how much overdrive you want, and so that'll be your maximum possible sweep, and that'll be, your maximum gain will be kind of limited. Or you can think of it the other way around and set your gain and then add more hair to the note, essentially.
Right.
And then you've got a bass addition. The bass wind, the tone controls work the right way around, so that adds bass, and that starts at high treble and then cuts it off. It's kind of like a treble cut, and it goes very loud. So I also modified the output stage because I like overdrives which can influence a valve amp. I play through like 15. I like low wattage valve amps, and that slams the front of a 5E6 pretty good.
I mean, it's a classic. People talk about the Timmy as being like, it's right up there for a lot of people with like tube screamers, and it's a classic overdrive. It's a classic for a reason. They are fantastic. They do a great job.
Again, I feel bad. I feel bad for kind of aping it, but like I'm hopefully like I said, I'm always trying to add a mode or tweak it to how I want it.
Everything you've got is your take on a thing. It's not just a clone and that's it. There's even something like the silly face here.
It's obviously a fuzz face.
Yeah, but you've clearly added your own things on there, and then you're also, whereas a lot of other people would add a trim pot inside the pedal and it's hidden away and you've got to take the back off and get in there and then tweak it, get a tiny screwdriver on it or whatever, and it's like you've got it right there on the top of the pedal, the little knob. So much easier, so much better. I'm so glad that you
well, some people are like less is more, but I'm definitely in the more is more, like more options. Like the version 1 of the silly face, those things were inside. So putting them on the front and adding the vintage modern switch just made it a much better pedal for me. And I don't want to make it all reductive to price, but it's probably the cheapest boutique fuzz face on the market, and it's got in my opinion, all of the options you would want, if not more.
Absolutely. And I have to say, they all look absolutely fantastic as well. You've got the aesthetic absolutely spot on, I would say.
It's colourful, like I say, from my daughter.
Just the colour, everything, like they look great. They just visually, they're just really impressive.
Appreciate it. I'm going to run out of colours at some point, though, aren't I?
You have to start inventing some new ones.
Yeah. Well, this is actually. The original silly face was red because that, the classic fuzz faces, the landmines were red. But I found a kind of, I think it was from the Crown era or Crest era, 70s one in like a stone grey, and I really love the aesthetic. So the production ones are going to be more this kind of army stone grey kind of colour. I've actually got some I could show you if you want. Maybe just get a picture later. But
yeah, definitely.
The ones in the box down under the bench.
I'll insert some shots later. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Cheers, Phil. Thank you. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Someone else I haven't seen since the Stourbridge show all those years ago is Cale from Leyland Pedals. How you doing, Cale, man?
Hello, I'm doing all right, thank you.
Good. It's great to see you again.
Good to see you.
What have you brought with you today for the Noisemaker market?
I'll focus on new stuff. It's these two, really. The Peace Lily is sort of similar to the Hum Along idea, where there's an old pedal from the 90s that everybody likes, but they didn't make it right the first time. So I've tried my best to make it better. So the original pedal, PL5 Power Lead, came in a plastic box with a foot switch that didn't work. And now it's in a metal box with a foot switch that does work, which is the best upgrade. But I've also, there's a treble control now, which there wasn't on the original. The bass control has been tweaked, so it's like a super saturated lead distortion used by bands like Castor and Hum.
Awesome. That's really cool. Like your hum-alongs, my demo for that is like it's done pretty well. Like the views of them over the years of it's still a really popular pedal.
It's a great pedal, yeah. I mean, I can't lay claim to the original circuit, but I can lay claim to the tweaks to it.
But it shows that the market is there for people that are fans of the original, but want it in like a more in a less temperamental presentation, or a more traditional box, basically. So
as far as I know, I'm the only person doing that, apart from another pedal company who makes one called the Axolotl, which as far as I can see is really cool. And as far as I can see, I'm definitely the only person with a PL5. So I'm hoping it opens the market up a little bit more, because I'd love to see other tweaks on that circuit, because it's a great circuit.
Indeed, yeah. I had a lot of fun with demoing that one. It's like, did I try that one before? I can't remember if I've tried these other two before. Yeah. I think I did.
Yeah. So this, it ever so slightly tweaked from when you demoed it. It's got red knobs now, which is the best part. But it's also got more gain, and the bass control's a bit tweaked.
Oh, nice.
So it's sort of set up to, if you're using it into a clean amp, it's really good here, but you can dial it back if you want to. But especially into overdrives and stuff like that, it sort of really focuses the sound if you pull the bass out, and gets you less of that woolly tone and more of the bite, which is nice.
Amazing. And then the head full as well, of course, you got on the end here. That's a fantastic PT 2399 delay. Yeah, as I remember it. I had a lot of fun with that.
The most attention on today, really. It sort of sounds like a broken tape echo, like one you should really change the tape in, like yesterday. Modulation, distortion. It's got more delay time now. This is actually a re-release. So it's got like a full second, but of course, because it's PT2399, the more you turn the time up, the more noise you get, the more unpredictability. So, yeah, lo-fi and gritty.
Very cool.
Other than that, it's just the Pebble, which is a pedal I've been wanting to make for a long time. If you look Pebble up in a dictionary, you might be able to tell what the pedal's based on. It's a phaser with some tweaks. So, I mean, obviously the big rate knob, so you can get to that with your foot or whatever while you're playing, which is cool. Blend, which just sort of takes you from sort of dry to full phasing. Output, there's tons of volume on tap, and then an input gain switch. So on the original, a lot of keyboard players would use it, and you can overdrive that circuit dead easy. So in the middle, you can take the input gain down, less overdrive, or you can drive it way harder than the original circuit and get all the phasing components sort of overdriving.
Awesome.
And variable feedback as well.
And you've got it before the piece loaded. Is it in the chain? Is this between the two?
That's first. So yeah, it's after the hum along, but before the piece loaded, so you can see how it performs, sort of.
Before and after. Yeah, I'm going to plug in and have a little play of that in a minute. Because I'm a sucker for a phaser. I do like a little bit of modulation, pre-dirt as well. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you, Cale. Appreciate it, dude.
Very much.
Thanks a lot. Good to see you again.
Cheers. Good to see you.
Have a good show. First for me, I've not met these guys before. T68.
Hiya, how's it going?
How's it going? Yeah, good to meet you. George, yes?
Yeah, I'm George at T68.
Nice to meet you.
This is my first pedal fair.
Yeah, it's great to see you. I've seen you on Instagram before, and you've got some very cool looking pedals. What can you tell us about them?
Okay, so first we got the Morricone, which is the very first one I designed, which is like a spaghetti western style fuzz. And I've just done the V3 with a sort of modern vintage switch, which is nice. Next we got the No Tapes, which are 4-track preamps. This one is 2 preamps, as if you were like jumping from one channel to the other in a 4-track. And this one is a preamp and a fuzz to kind of push it a little bit harder. It's very cool. We were doing them before that 3-letter pedal brand. This one is a percussive tremolo, similar to or inspired by the one that was in Sonic from Spaceman 3's Vox guitar. It's very choppy, it's quite cool. And this is brand new today. It's a noisy reverb with a kind of infinite foot switch thing, which is, yeah, it can be a normal sort of spring, but it can also be a disgusting noise machine.
You're definitely speaking my language. Two words that go very well together are noise and reverb.
The headphones aren't doing it justice today. But yeah.
That's very, very cool. I like that. I like the aesthetic as well. It's some very, very appealing looking pedals, and I really like. As you say, this one's new today.
Exactly. Yeah. So I built it a while ago, but it's not on the internet yet.
It's an exclusive.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. I hope people like it.
When's the release for that one? When's that?
When I can get myself around to demoing one at home, but I hate that aspect of it because I can't play guitar. I mean, I can, but you know, yeah. I think I'm not very good at showcasing my own stuff.
Fair enough. Well, you know, I'm available if you want a hand with that.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
These two? What were these two?
Just my personal ones in case I sell out of everything. Yeah, sort of earlier versions. Yeah.
Fair play. Cool. Thank you very much, George.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Speak to you later. Thanks. Always love to come and chat to Tim at Fredric Effects when I get a chance, and it's been over a few months since Leeds.
Yes. Well, it's the next lead. The new lead show's like 3 weeks away, isn't it?
I know, it's mad. Yeah, it's not far away at all. So what before Leeds, then you know, we get a little bit of a sneak peek at some of the new things that you've got.
Okay, what's new? The La Petite Super Unpleasant Companion. The name, I was running it by my kids and trying to find the most annoying name for a pedal, because the previous one was the Nouveau, which is it's just the big companion fuzz and super fuzz in a smaller enclosure with all the controls mounted on the front. This one I've added the tone circuit to be foot switchable, and you can turn the octave off. Yeah, it's just really popular kind of useful super fuzz kind of style thing. And I've almost sold out of those already, which is good.
Oh, very nice.
And hopefully stockists will have them soon enough for the next. I think this is probably like the trial batch, and now it's production batch, which is going to go to all the stockists and all that. So
Right.
Also, because everyone keeps asking me, I've done a small batch of the Super Fuzz from that circuit as a standalone pedal, but I'm not going to be making tons of those. It's going to be, maybe a 10 a month or so.
Okay, very cool. I like the form factor as well of the smaller pedals as well. They're so simple and easy to navigate.
Yeah,
they're great.
Yeah, they're custom made for me, and I'm just trying out a new supplier, and they seem to be doing a pretty good job of these. This is the new shape of the Vizera, which is like the East German distortion, and that used to be in the old this style wedge, which is I think with a lot of these, they're going to go from this style wedge into either the two foot switches or the single style wedge.
Right.
And the new version of utility percolator, that's going to be in the two knobs, the 2 foot switches.
So this is new as well. This one up here, the standard fuzz machine.
That's pretty new.
I've not seen it before anyway.
Yeah, it's newer than the Demon Fuzz and the Silicon Harmonic Percolator. Those have been really popular. That's styled on the old Ibanez standard fuzz, which is kind of like Super Fuzz but with much more pronounced octavey kind of overtones.
Right. Very cool.
Aside from that, what I'm working on is a new version of this, which is based on this is a preamp from Vermona Regent 150, and I'm going to be doing the preamp and tremolo from the larger amp, the Regent 300, which is massive, weighs a ton, East German sort of amplifier. It's like 100 watts, and it sounds louder than that suggests. It's massively abrasive and loud.
It sounds fun. Awesome. Well, I'm keen to see what else you might have in store. You're so prolific with releasing effects. I'm sure you'll probably have something else by the time I see you at Leeds.
What would be nice if I had 5 pedals and they all sold really well, and then that's all I would build. But not only will I get bored, I would probably just keep introducing new things, and I'll get back to where I am now anyway. And it's kind of
It's not a terrible problem to have.
No, it's not. It's nice. It also means that although I've got ones that are really popular, like the Petites, I'm not relying on one pedal as my sole source of pedal sales. It's it's nice to have a few different things, or 25 different things.
Very good. Thank you, Tim. Much appreciated.
No worries. Thank you, Phil. Pleasure.
See you again at Leeds.
Leeds, yeah.
Or not so much.
No, I'm going to go. I liked Leeds last time. There's another one before then. I'm going to Northampton.
Yes. Okay. I don't think I'm going to that one. I'm not going there. But.
Yeah. I'm not doing as many of the northern shows this year, but I'm not doing Guitar Summit, but I am going to do Other stuff. Yeah, I'm going to be busy.
I'll see you again somewhere.
Good. I'll give this back.
Yeah, you can. Thanks. Cheers, bud. Great to see Grindle again at Live at Fair Audio. Great to see you again. How have you been? Everything right?
Yeah, good. Keeping busy.
Good. Yeah. What can you tell us or show us that's new?
I've got a couple of new bits. So first is this one that's actually out. So this is a module Gwion from Holy Island Audio, and I worked on. So it's a effect send for URAC, and you can mix, feedback, and starve the voltage of any pedals. So I've got this little setup of pedals here, and this one's currently controlling the voltage starve on the heavy metal, and this one's controlling the feedback of this. This is another one Gwion and I have been working on that's not quite finished but almost done.
I'm very excited by this one.
So this is the Rorschach fuzz and filter. So this side is all fuzz, with this controlling the instability on the fuzz, and left and right controlling the frequency of the filter. And then you've got some tone controls and some extra little bits there. It's fully stereo in and out, so you've got two full fuzz circuits and two filters, and then you've got high pass, low pass, band pass outputs, and then one where you have one high pass and one low pass. And it's also got a secret little feature where if you unpatch the input cable, the inputs are latched to the outputs, and you get a feedback thing, so you can use it as a standalone noisemaker as well.
That's so cool.
And then finally, the next new bits I've got are these, which are not out. I think I'm going to call it Control Alt CV, but it's basically a little control voltage, gate, and trigger keyboard with a contact microphone out. So there's a contact microphone hidden, so you can listen to the keys. This one's set up to trigger the drum sounds here with these outputs, and then this one's set up as a little mono synth. So this one's CV and this one's gate, and when you play that, it's controlling this part of the modular synth, which you can play about.
That's amazing. That sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, and they're almost done. I've just got to kind of shave a tiny bit off of the PCBs so it all fits, because there's like 7 PCBs stacked up in that tiny little box, which is kind of daft.
Very cool. And it's hard to ignore this pulsing away. I've never seen one of these before. This is not a calculator, right?
No, this is just I'm using it as an amp sim today, but the Roland 404 thingy. So it's like a sampler and effects box and like a bunch of other stuff as well in it.
That's very cool. And of course you've got a whole bunch of your legacy pedals along the front here.
So these are the ones that are all currently in stock. I've got the Violet Oscillation, which is done in collaboration with pedal partners. We've got the 2 limited glow ones there, and then the standard color there. These 2 are the Bad Machine, which I did in collaboration with Boston Manor. This is the standard color, and this is like a reverb exclusive one that we did. And then this is the Pale Spectre Tremolo, Boost, and Heterodyne modulator, which is kind of funny ring modulator, but not a true ring modulator.
Awesome. And dominating the board a little bit to some extent is the mighty Fuzz Billion.
This is one my friends in Teacher Machines designed. So Matt and Frank from Teacher Machines and Luke as well, shout out Luke, designed this one. So it's a multi-function fuzz box. So you've got input boost, gain for the first stage, then clipping, and you can make it asymmetrical. You've got a Big Muff style tone stack, a octave fuzz blend and gain, and you've got PLL for weird synthy sounds. What's the next one? Bias, clipping to ground, and then another tone control on the end. And you also have switches on the side for line in and line out. And I quite like using the line out switch. So if you click the line out switch in and then drive the output, you clip that transformer to get like a nice like analog desky sort of like driven sound, which is really nice. But that one I got because they're my like neighbours, and I designed the circuit board for it basically.
Awesome. Very cool. Thank you so much for there's a lot. You're very prolific and always seem to be working on something mad and cool.
I mean, working on something silly.
Fair play to you. Thank you very much for taking time to talk us through everything. Very, very keen to see that one when that's finished and released out into the wild as well.
Hopefully it shouldn't be too much longer. We're like 99% there. It's just like getting rid of some noise, tuning the frequency range a little bit on the filter, so we got, and that's like mostly a calibration thing, but yeah, we're pretty much there.
We'll go see Gwion next, and
Lush, I'll hand it over to Gwion.
Oh, I thought you were also recording.
That was a seamless transition. Cheers, thank you very much. Well, what a seamless transition that was.
Hello.
Always great to see you, Gwion. What do we have for 2026?
Good to see you. I'm trying to think what's come out this year is Deforming is the like newest thing that I've put out. It's a double. So originally Deforming was just a single PTT 399
delay with like a warping feature. We've redesigned the warp feature, so there's an attack and release controls. So when you're pressing this down, you're dragging your repeats down, and when you release it, they come back up again. And you can set how quickly or how slowly that happens with these two knobs. There's a second delay switch. There's a second switch here, which pops on another delay chip. So you've got two in series, so you can do like the washed out spacey thing, but then you can also drag it down into hell. I think for this year, because we're only in March now, so this came out in January, I think, if I'm recalling correctly, and everything else has been out since then. I've set this up kind of strangely. I tend to do it all the time in case someone doesn't want to play guitar, so you can choose between this little sun swallower, which is like, I sell these DIY PCBs on my site. There's not that many left, to be honest, but you can build up this. It's like a solar-powered drone synth, but it's just plugged into a DC jack at the minute. So yeah, you can choose between that or a guitar, depending on what you want.
That's awesome.
And then, shall I just run through what we've got on here for now with that, or just the newer stuff?
Yeah, the newer stuff. Obviously, we've spoken. Well, it's been a few months now, and it's coming up to Leeds again. But yeah, last I spoke at Leeds, we covered. I think I
can't remember. Mountain Mover was definitely there. I think Blast Radius has come out since then. It's like a...
I can't remember, to be honest. I think it might have done, yeah.
We'll go over it then. It definitely came out last year at some point. It's a expression-controlled oscillating fuzz. You've got 3 gain stages that you can toggle in and out, sort of pick and mix, and it will screech and squeal in different ways, and you can sort of tune that in with this starve knob. You've obviously got a master volume control over that. But the main sort of appeal, I would say, to this is that the expression control means that you can control the oscillation with your foot. I'm pretty sure Spectral Palace was out already, but that's just a combo of 2 pedals that I've made in the past. So you've got Glass Palace, which has been reduced here into just a sort of boost section, so it's just a gain and a volume control, and then you've got the entire Spectral Fire circuit in there as well, which is more of a preamp. And then, I don't know if I would have spoken about this, but this is a collaborative pedal I made with the band Wren from London, who play sort of post-metal-esque, doomy, great guitar tone style metal music. But we built this together. It's essentially the Angel Teeth that I've made for a few years, but it's running into the back end of like a Trainer TS50B preamp circuit, and there's also a boost. But I think that's everything.
They're very, very cool pedals, absolutely. Deforming, I'd love to try that at some point. I was a big fan of the V1 of that. That was awesome.
It's basically just stuff I realised people were doing in these shows. For instance, so the first one, it would just, when you press this, it essentially triggered an envelope, which was a set time, which you dialed in, whereas with this, it's a lot more interactive because it depends on, it's a gate control rather than a trigger. So if you hold it down, it will keep warping until you release your foot or your thumb, whatever you're using to control it. It's just a more dialed in version of what I was trying to achieve the first time around.
Awesome. And then we've got a sneak peek at the project with
Rorschach V2. So the original came out quite a while back. I assume Grindle's just mentioned all this stuff.
Discussing it briefly, just a little teaser overview.
We're almost there. Obviously, I've got no artwork on that yet, but that's in the works. We need to print up some for our prototype.
But enclosure though, that look is quite
cool. We've been looking at some jazzy powder coating options, so I'm not sure what we're going to end up with. Mostly just because I'm scared to print on that, because the texture's so deep that you have to, it like sort of sucks into all the grooves, so a screen tends to warp on it. But we'll find out.
Whatever you end up going with, I mean, the track record so far is pretty astonishing. So I don't think you know how to make a bad-looking pedal.
I will prove you wrong.
That's the next challenge. Like, I've covered so much at this end of the spectrum. Let's make something awful.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do that.
Thank you, as always, Gwion. Appreciate that. We'll have a good show, and
have a good one.
Probably see you at Leeds in next month. Probably with something else new by knowing you.
Most likely, yeah. I've got a few bits that I'll have finished by then. Oh, I actually do have one very specific thing, which will be by then. But I won't mention it, because if I don't finish it, then it'll be embarrassing.
And what will we have to talk about?
Exactly.
Exactly right. Take care, bud. Thank you. Appreciate it. See you again. Great to finally meet
Daniel from Dronechov Noise Machines. Wrong hand, but there we go. Great to meet you in person at long last.
Glad to, great to meet you in person. Yeah.
How's the show working out for you so far?
The show is, yes, absolutely. The show is fantastic. People are very much interested in what we have. A lot of people try the pedals that I brought, and I have a great reception for the Stepping Razor, which is actually the first time I am announcing this name in public.
Awesome! Yeah, very excited to check this out. Obviously, I've been grateful, privileged enough to try out these two already on my channel, the Megaphone and the Black Phillip. Great name.
Thank you.
So yeah, the new one, the Stepping Razor. What can you tell us about this one?
Okay, so again, this is the first time this is shown in public. Stepping Razor is a rat in its essence. It's a fatter rat, but it's not the fat rat.
Okay.
Yes, it has a little bit more low end. It's not that bitey as the original rat. It has 3 clipping options, well 2. Asymmetrical, symmetrical and no clipping, while the asymmetrical clipping is LED, transistor and the diode.
Yeah.
And I have parallel clean blend, so it makes it great for bass as well. Sorry, that's the blend.
Yeah.
It makes it great for bass, and when the blend is all the way up, it boosts the clean signal a little bit. It's also great for guitar if you want to blend clean signal or another distortion. And I am particularly proud of it. And the design on the pedal is made by a local artist from the band Throwing Bricks in Utrecht.
It's very cool. I was going to mention that. It looks really striking artwork on that. I really like that.
Thank you. Shout out to Jordi.
And then, of course, you've got a couple of other eye-catching pedals at the top of the board here. These, what's the story with these?
Okay, so the Tiental means the decade in Dutch. It's the PV decade, and I think that's all I need to say about it.
Okay.
And it has the judgmental gaze of my cat on it. The next one is A Void, which is also named after my black cat. It's a modernized version of the Maestro MP1 from the 70s. I was not into phasers before I stumbled upon this one. It can sound very trippy. I like it. And next to it is the Vibroverb, which I've been having this on the website for a while now, but I decided to give it a little refreshing. And I added foot switch for the vibrato and separate for the reverb. The vibrato is a Magna Vibe style vibrato, very simple, very subtle. And the reverb is DIY belt and brick based reverb.
Well, I was able to try them out earlier on, and yeah, they're both fantastic.
I have a great reception for it so far. People really like it.
It's really great. I really like that. I'm a sucker for vibrato, especially. So yeah, having that with the reverb on that pedal sounds fantastic. This sounds great as well. Looking forward to demoing that one on my channel.
Me too.
Soon, we'll see when I get round to it. I've got a lot on my plate at the moment, but hopefully in not too distant future that one will be on the...
There is no rush. If you don't make it for the release date, it's also okay. No rush at all.
Awesome. I'm glad the pressure's off slightly.
I just want to tease a little bit for the Vibroverb. I have great plans for it for my next release after this one. So this is still a plan. I will use the same concept for a different pedal. So the Vibroverb, as we know it, may disappear at some point.
Right, okay. Good to know.
Yeah. I revealed a lot.
Yeah, you're supposed to keep your cards close to your chest, dude. You know, you're not supposed to tell everyone everything. But I appreciate the exclusives.
Yeah, I thought it's a good idea to tell you a little bit more about what I have.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Looking forward to trying that one out when I get back home. I'm going to definitely have some fun with that one.
Nice. I'm excited to hear what you think about it.
Most definitely. Cheers, bud. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
See you later. Bye. And another first for me at one of these shows, Loose Electronics. I'd introduce yourself, sir, and tell us about your pedals, what you brought along.
Yeah, so I'm Moose. Nickname Hurricane, if you like my real name. So I brought selection, pretty much everything I do at the moment. Maybe missing one. But new one coming. I've done the short run of this last year. It's a collab with Dunwich amps, HM2 metal zone combination type thing. So lots of high again, chuggy metal things. Parallel clean boost as well, just to get some clarity in there. Battle Hammer is first original pedal I think, which was also a collaboration with Dunwich. So that's why these two are together. And it's a rat with really big rat. So like lots and lots of low end, and lots of high end if you wanted to, and boost with lots of extra volume. So rat with lots and lots of extras. This is a bass and guitar preamp drive Cosmic Trigger. It's roughly based kind of in the Trainer Rusty box and also the acoustic 360. So it's not as gritty and bright and nasty, but it can get there if you wanted to. This one is the touch of spring reverb, so one knob reverb, really simple, just mix. But it does what it does really well. Yeah, next we start again here. This is my latest release. It's a Solar Molasses. It's a much more in-depth reverb, but then it's got a droning feedback loop. So the colour-coded knobs, the orange knobs control the feedback drone. It's a momentary switch, and the toggle switches between momentary on, momentary off. So the toggle up to the on position, it'll feedback all the time, and you can pause it with this button. With it off, you bring it in like this. Then we've got a master volume for all the effect. We've got a dwell, which is the length, usual input into the reverb. Gives it length. Once you go over at 12 o'clock, it gets dirty and saturates. So kind of a dual purpose knob. Mix does what you'd expect. Tone for the main tone does what you'd expect. It's clean volume for the feedback, dirty volume for the feedback. So again, the more this is up, the more dirty the feedback is, more chaotic. So you can pull this max and keep this really low, or the other way around. Drone tone does what it says, it's tone control. This tone is after this, so they work as individual and together. Bandpass kind of world if they're both on. Sundrive is my classic overdrive. Kind of does everything, does it well in the overdrive world. So pretty much clean. You can turn the gain off completely and use the boost, and you can turn that on. It's quite a lot of, you get a 25-degree clean boost with the gain off, or as dirty as you want. So you can make treble or bass boost, or everything in between. Really nice, tweakable. It's kind of an always on for me in a lot of situations. Electric Elk is my bass, kind of big muff style thing with a mid control. It's a combination of like 3 or 4 different big muffs that I liked, and just took the best of all of them. And my specific transistors I like. The brass neck is similar to the Sundrive, but stripped down. It's a germanium overdrive, so it's much more squishy, gritty, kind of, I don't know, more character to it. Nomad is my other probably favourite pedal I've ever done. It's an octave up fuzz, treble and bass controls on it, classic Aussie volume, gain, fuzz, 3-way clipping, so germanium for like 70s, silicone for more modern, and no diodes for just bigger, fatter, louder, all them nice words, all that stuff. It's got a parallel clean boost, so it's about a 1K gentle cut off, so it's all your low mids and bass. It's tuned to fit really, really nicely with this. Turn on and off the octave up as you please. One of the things with this was, I find a lot of octave pedals, you turn on the octave, you lose all the low end, so this is designed that when you turn on the octave, the low end stays where it is, with or without the clean.
Right. There's some great stuff, man. It looks amazing.
Thanks very much.
I love the aesthetic of your pedals as well.
Everything. I do all the screen printing, powder coating and spray painting depending on the pedal myself. The graphic design is done by somebody else, by one of my best mates, but it's all done to my tastes. We have a very specific kind of retro futurism kind of vibe that we're both into, so it works.
100%. Yeah, no, they're great. They look fantastic. And
Thanks very much.
Yeah, the Nomad I've seen around on your Instagram and elsewhere quite a lot. I know that I've from experience or from watching the demos and stuff online. This sounds phenomenal. Those things sound great, and you've got another colorway version up here as well. He looks great in purple. I'm a sucker for purple, so I really like that.
This Midnight Orchid.
Okay, it's really nice. I like that. That's really cool.
It's kind of hard to see in the light, but around the corners and stuff, it's a little bit darker. So it's like a light purple base, and then there's like a purple wash over it, and then there's a blue sparkle on top of that again. So it's 3 layers of.
I like that. That's really cool. And then other colorways and alternate versions of some.
Yeah, these are that's the samples. These are for sale.
Okay.
Per se. So different colorways. I'll often have like two colors to choose from, but every 6 months or so I'll change the colors and keep mixing it up and just keep it interesting for
That's fair enough.
myself and maybe other people.
Oh, I like that. That's variety, spice of life. Yeah, you know.
So at the moment I've kind of leaned back into a lot of dark and black kind of colours because I hadn't had them for a while. So I've gone back into some of these darker kind of black, but again, they're black but they've got sparkles and stuff. So
yeah, that's great. They're fantastic, and they've got the purple electric elk as well. It's really, really cool. Thank you, Moose. Appreciate that.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
See you later. Always a pleasure, Phil. Bleak Districts. It's a staple of every show, of every pedal show. I need to come and say hi. What's going on here? Sorry, carry on.
That's not for that. There we go.
Do that out of the way.
That's all good.
Make some space there. Right. I don't even need to ask what's new for 2026 because right here in front of us we have it.
Orbits. Yeah.
What can you tell us about this intriguing looking pedal?
So I've called it a granular synthesis engine. It does a few things granular basically. So it's essentially a granular delay, but also a sampler because with the freeze function you can lock it into the buffer that it's recorded and then sort of jump around to different points in that, and it'll keep remanipulating it over and over and over and over and over. I basically wanted to get those sounds you get from a lot of other granular type pedals, but more easily, like without as much sort of menu diving or fiddling around with different controls. And I find there's like a sound that I had in my head that I wanted, and it's just kind of that, and you've got some control around it. But then obviously the scrub feature came after, and that's been really useful for, it's really fun to play around with.
I was having to play around with it earlier, and it's a lot of fun. It's crazy.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, the reverse, especially the reverse modes.
Yeah, well, even that sort of stuff. I know some you could have like a separate control for things like that, or like the octave or like the pitch. I just thought I'll put it on switches, give it a few different options, and then you can't make any like bad sounds because it's all like octave or like random reversey sort of thing, and so it won't suddenly start generating weird different pitch, which is all good for some stuff. It's not my bag. I like to keep everything sort of
That's awesome. And then there is also as a little bonus device.
What's this?
That you've been working on, right?
Oh, this. Oh, yeah. This is just an expression pedal, really. Well, I guess it's 3 expression pedals in one, and then each button just jumps to the value of the whichever one. Does that make sense? What I've just said? A lot of one and things and.
It does things when you press
it's like
the button.
three expression pedals that you set. To whatever pitch, or you can move it, and then you can jump to each one.
These are colour coordinated, right, to the pedal?
That's just that was kind of by accident. But I guess they're colour coordinated. That these work together, these work together.
Okay, so not like that controls the speed.
Maybe that's a bit confusing. No, I just I think I got a big bag of these arcade buttons in different colours, so I just sort of used that.
Something had to be done with them.
Yeah, I wanted to use them for ages. I've actually had them for years and years and years.
They look really, really cool.
They do, and it's fun to. It turns this into like a bit even more of like an instrument that you can play, because this can control the scrub position or the master pitch, wet pitch, so you can really play it like
It's awesome. Well, as I say, that's been keeping you busy, I'm sure, for the past few months.
Yeah, and it looks like it's it'll be keeping me busy for a while. Well, hopefully, yeah. Fingers crossed.
I'm definitely looking forward to checking that one out and doing a demo for that one at some point soon. Hopefully, we'll see, but it will happen, 100%. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Just got the T-shirt as well. Spinal Tap.
Thank you. Hang on, let me just. Yes.
I was like, what? Yeah. It took me a moment.
You know.
Yeah.
Cheers, Phil. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. We'll see what leads.
Defo. Yeah.
Ta-ra. Another first for me, meeting Lottie from Lottie Canto in person. Great to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. What can you tell us about what you brought along to the show?
Sure.
Last minute addition to the show.
Yeah, so they asked me like 2 days ago, can you come and have a table? I was like, yes. So I've put together something to show you. The big thing I sell is these.
I'm sure everybody online knows this by now.
Electric calimbers. They've got 8 different effects, like reverb and delay effects. You can plug it into whatever pedals you have. I love it very much, and I love coming to events like this because it just like people try them for the first time and are just. There was a guy earlier and he sat down, he looked very serious, and then he sort of plucked a little bit and he just started giggling. And I was like, that's exactly the response I want.
That's great. I mean, you're pretty much always selling out of these, right, as well, aren't they?
It's what I spend most of my time doing in my workshop, just building more of these.
Putting more out in the world.
Absolutely, trying my best.
Yeah. I'm keen to try and get one on my channel at some point. But like I say, I think I remember I've asked you in the past before. It's like, any chance I could borrow one to film a demo? You're like, I can't. They're all sold. It's a good problem to have.
It is. It's good for me, but sometimes rough for people trying to get them. I understand.
Also, I don't want to be trying to advertise and sell, something for someone when they're already sold. So it's like, it's a tricky balance to kind of find. But yeah. And what else have you? Is there anything else you brought along?
Yeah. So this I brought along. I've stopped making these, but if people want them, I'll make them again. But this was just for the sake of trying the colour palette with some drive, some fuzz, because it's one of those things that people forget that they can do. You can plug it into anything. So I brought that along. This is something new. It's a tiny reverb pedal. I think it's the smallest reverb pedal. I'm willing to be proven wrong.
That's a pretty tiny reverb.
Yeah, it's as small as I can make a reverb. That's for sure.
Very impressive.
I drew all this myself. I printed these knobs, designed them as well, which I had a really good time making these. It was a lot of fun. And then the last thing is this. I sell kits to mod these old Holy Grails. So they used to make the Holier Grail, which is the big box version.
It's getting very noisy next door.
And they had a short and long switch, but the circuit inside them is the same, so you can just add that short and long switch to these boxes as well.
Really cool.
And the other thing is a clock speed, so it's essentially slowing the processor down, and it makes it really crunchy and slow, and you can almost hear the individual delays that are making up the reverb. So that's selling kits to do that if anybody happens to have these old pedals lying around, So that's it. That's everything.
That's really cool. And there's a little routine junction box as well, just making so you can choose between whichever
necessary for the show
input, of course. Really cool.
Thank you so much.
Great to have you along. I'm glad. It's a shame Buzzing Bugs Audio weren't able to make it, but you know.
Yeah, his stuff's really good. I tried it last year in Bristol. And yeah, he makes really good stuff.
We keep missing each other, me and him. It's like every time I'm at a show, he's not able to make it, and then when he's at a show, I'm not able to make it. So we were saying like, oh, this is like the first time we're actually going to be able to meet each other, and then of course he then can't make it again. So I think it's just destiny at this point. We're never going to meet him in life, but yeah, it's his loss or our loss is also our gain. We've missed out on him, but we've gained you. So yeah, it's great to meet you in person at least. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Lottie.
So much.
All the very best. Thanks. And we're here with yet another first for me at one of these shows. Robin.
Thawney. I'm Robin from Thawney, but I am the only person. It sounds more impressive if it makes it sound like there's more of you.
It does.
Yeah. But yeah, these are my things.
Please talk us through your things.
So I make the weird square pedals you may have seen and gone, why on earth has someone made this pedal a square? That's not going to fit on my pedal board. That's me. So I've got this reverb. I'm currently working on an envelope following tremolo, and then I'm also developing a weird MIDI box. But I'll chat to you mostly about the pedals today, as that's hard to expose on the camera. I discovered earlier.
Yeah, let's concentrate over here for now.
So yeah, this is It's Still Raining. It's a stuttery, aliasy, glitchy reverb. It's designed to let you amplify the bits that people used to try and get rid of from their pristine digital reverb algorithms. So you can turn up your digital stuttering, you can turn up your aliasing and your bit crushy goodness, and then there's kind of two algorithms. So you've got one which is nice for like long swooshy pads, and then this one is a bunch of delays feeding back into themselves, traditional old school relay, reverb. My brain is turning off, sorry. But it's just very nice, very glitchy reverbs, and I really enjoy those.
Very cool.
And then, yeah, this is clearing. This is an envelope following tremolo. It's got sensitivity, and then speed and then depth. You can set the envelope follower to control the speed or the depth of the envelope, or both at once, and if you do that, you get this really lovely trip-hoppy sound, which is quite nice.
That's awesome.
But yes, it's still in the works because I'm tuning the sensitivity and also seeing if I can change the envelope follower shape so that it can be positive or negative. At the moment, it's if you play loud, it's fast, but I'd like it to be so you can switch that around too. So yeah, that's my
really
things.
cool.
Thank you.
I'm gonna plug in and try them in a minute and hear that. That sounds amazing. Reverb, especially. I'm a big fan of reverb. That always, I'm going to be interested and excited about that. So always keen to try a new reverb.
I have a pedal board which is basically just reverbs, and I'm not ashamed of that fact. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, you can never have enough reverb or too much. That's awesome. Really cool. And you said we're not going to go into it, but you've got this MIDI box. What does this actually do?
It is a box for doing generative MIDI, because there's a lot of things where I want to experiment with MIDI without a computer, so I can load up to 4 scripts onto there, and I can write them really easily and just flash them on there, and then I can take it with me. And it's got an accelerometer in it as well, so you can do things like tilting it about and making the game snake onto a synthesizer. So yeah, it's just a lovely little scripting MIDI box for all of your MIDI needs.
See, I would just do that all the time, and I'd be like, wow, look at that, that's so cool.
It is great fun. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to try these out now and test them out and put them through their paces a little bit. Cheers, Robin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. It's a day of firsts today, because I've not actually spoken to James at Hamilton Effects before, but great to meet you. It's been a great show so far.
Yeah, great. Lots of really good conversations. Nice that it's headphones only, so you can actually talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's been going well.
Great stuff. So I've not come across your pedals before, so I'm very keen to hear about what you've brought with you today.
New anyway. I kind of launched Hamilton Effects just over a year ago with a couple of models, the Twin Boost and the Embers Fuzz, and then kind of a year or so in, I've revised them, if you like, and launched the core versions of each and the faded versions of each. So this is the Twin, is 2 single transistor boost stages, both with different kind of flavors. This side has a bias control, so you can get the spitty, compressy kind of sounds that you would normally associate with fuzz, but on like a low gain drive. This side is more classic single transistor boost with the gain control. And then when they're both on, you've got this toggle between 1 into 2, 2 into 1, or running them both in parallel. So you can get different dynamic kind of stages, if you like.
That's really cool.
Thanks, yeah. The twin was one I designed when I was on paternity leave with my twins, because I didn't have enough time on my hands, so I decided to design a pedal. So that's the core twin. The faded twin has kind of preset things where the core one has kind of tweakable knobs for it, right? So you get a volume control for each one of the boosts, and then a toggle which determines are you series 1 into 2 or are you parallel.
Okay.
So the kind of aim with the faded was an exercise in how affordable could I make them without losing anything. So kind of smaller enclosures finished with just a kind of burst of spray that's kind of designed to wear. And yeah, so it's got the core kind of identity of the sound. So that's the twin. These are available now. These will be coming soon. And then the Embers is my kind of fuzz, but it's more of like a low gain preamp based around the fuzz circuit. So you've got your kind of normal volume, bias and gain. The gain range is kind of designed with clarity and low gain as an intent, really. We've got this treble cut control, which works in the same way as like on a Vox amp. All the way down is clear and clean, do you know what I mean? And then you kind of knock off the presence with that. And then this body control blends in some of your clean signal, but only sub 200 hertz. So kind of the low end that you were sending in to keep some of that. You don't get the mush with the fuzz.
So this is going to be a bass player's dream, surely.
Yeah, that's it. It kind of lots of bass pedals do that with a total clean blend.
Yeah.
But I thought with guitar, it gets messy with the kind of treble and mids in there, so I kind of filtered it down a little.
That's a good idea.
And then the faded Embers is like the fuzz part of this. It's got that kind of vintage fuzz thing where it has to go first in the chain, whereas the core Embers has a pickup sim built into it, so it could go anywhere. It doesn't have the tone shaping things, and it's got a bias toggle rather than bias range on a knob.
Yeah.
But like I say, kind of the core central kind of thing of the pedal itself.
Very, very cool.
So that's what I've got today.
Awesome.
Yeah, like I say, these will be coming soon. And when these core pedals launch, I'm going to start this HFX core thing, which will be like, once you have one, future ones will be discounted. And also, I'm going to use it more of an excuse to be a bit creative. And people who are part of it, I'll send them stuff if they want it. So not necessarily pedals, but yeah, just to kind of have an excuse to kind of exercise that creative muscle. So that's the idea. That's what I brought to the show today. Anyway.
Very cool. Well, I appreciate you taking time to show us some of your creations. I appreciate it, and very much interested to keep an eye out for what you have in the future as well. That's going to be very, very exciting. Thank you.
All right, cheers.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, James.
Thank you.
All the best. We're here with the event's organiser, Adam. Nice to meet you, sir.
Hey, good to meet you too.
Thanks very much for putting this on. It's been a really great show. Enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
We're only halfway through the afternoon as well at this point, so still plenty to look forward to later on.
Yeah.
How have you found it? Have you,
Really good. I mean, it's the first one, obviously. It was a little bit stressful setting it all up, but then I think came a point last night where I just reached a point of zen and realised I'd done everything that I possibly could.
Yeah.
I've had some help along the way as well, so just getting to that point where at least I know all the cables are in place. That was a big weight off my mind. But yeah, it's been really fun. Not had much chance to actually check much stuff out.
Yeah, that's the downside.
So that's what I'm trying to do now. Yeah, there's a bit of a lull in my schedule, so I'm going around. I've already bought something from Isn't-Sis, a little noisemaker, so that'll be fun to play with.
Great stuff. Yeah, no, definitely get around a few of these tables. So some great stuff here.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting it on. It's been great. Looking forward to hopefully being a regular,
fingers crossed,
staple thing of the roster for the annual. It'd be great to have it as like a part of the routine of every year having the same shows all lined up each year.
That's the thing. I think maybe next year we might have to plan it schedule-wise a little bit better, because I don't want to tread on anyone else's toes too much. Obviously, it's a busy calendar with events.
Yeah.
So it might not be this time of year next year.
Okay.
It might be a different time, but we'll see.
Figure it out. Figure something out.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Great
Cheers.
stuff. Look forward to next year.
Thanks, Phil.
Cheers, bud.